For nearly 60 years, an unsolved murder haunted a quiet mining town in Pennsylvania. Generations came and went, detectives retired, new ones took their place, and yet the same question echoed through time. Who killed 9-year-old Marise Ann Chiverella? No cameras, no witnesses, no confession. Just a child's broken body, a devastated community, and a mystery that refused to fade. This is the story of the oldest cold case in Pennsylvania history ever solved, brought to an end by a groundbreaking blend of forensic science, genetic genealogy, algorithmic matching, and the unwavering persistence of people who refused to forget her. This is Uncuffed Mysteries, and today we uncover the truth behind a case that stayed unsolved for 58 years. To understand this story, we must travel back to the 18th of March, 1964. Hazleton, Pennsylvania was a coal town, hardworking, tight-knit, and built around family, church, and community. It was a place where neighbors knew one another, where children played outside until sunset, and where routine was a comfort. Marise Chiverella was the youngest daughter in a loving family of Italian-American immigrants. She was known for her kindness, her maturity, and her helpful nature. That morning, she carried with her a small box of food, a donation she planned to drop off at a local church charity. Her walk to school was familiar, safe, ordinary, but somewhere along that short path, something unimaginable happened. When she didn't arrive at school, her family panicked immediately because Marise wasn't the type to wander off or be late. By afternoon, their worst fears were confirmed. Police found her body in a remote coal dumping ground outside town. The brutality shocked detectives. This wasn't just a murder. It was an attack on innocence itself. Hazleton's sense of safety was shattered in a single day, and the hunt for a killer began. Hazleton changed overnight. Parents started escorting children to school. People who once left their doors unlocked began installing locks and keeping watch. Rumors spread through neighborhoods. Who could do such a thing? A stranger? A drifter? Or someone in town? The police launched one of the largest investigations the area had ever seen. Roadblocks, door-to-door questioning, search teams scouring every inch of woodlands, coal fields, and abandoned buildings. For forensic limitations, the evidence wasn't enough. DNA technology didn't exist. Fingerprint matching was crude. Psychological profiling was in its infancy years before the FBI's behavioral science unit would even be formed. Investigators depended on witness accounts, but nobody saw anything. No suspicious cars, no strange men lurking, no cries for help. The case quickly became a detective's nightmare. A brutal crime with no trace of the killer. As weeks passed and nothing emerged, hope began to fade. And then years passed. And decades. But the case file never left the minds of the people who lived through it. Fast forward to the early 2000s. DNA, once science fiction, was now solving crimes around the world. In 2007, the Chiverella case was revisited. Evidence collected in 1964, including semen recovered from the crime scene, was tested with new technology. For the first time, investigators had a full DNA profile of the unknown attacker. This was their first real breakthrough in over 40 years. But again, a wall stood in the way. The profile didn't match anyone in the national criminal databases. The killer had no record, no arrest, no documented DNA on file. Once again, the case stalled. But this time, investigators weren't giving up. The turning point came after 2018, when the Golden State Killer was identified using genetic genealogy, a new method combining DNA, public genealogy websites, and algorithmic family tree building. This wasn't traditional forensic DNA. It was deeper, more powerful. It could identify distant cousins, great-grandparents, and shared ancestors. By comparing DNA from crime scenes to millions of volunteer profiles, genealogists could map out entire family trees, narrowing down suspects using age, location, gender, and probability scoring. Hazleton detectives saw hope. For the first time, Marise's case had a modern path forward. In 2019, they partnered with Parabon Nanolabs, one of the world's leading genetic genealogy companies. The killer's DNA was uploaded to genealogy databases, and the algorithms began their work. Thousands of shared DNA segments were analyzed, relatives were flagged, family trees were sketched, branches eliminated, branches explored again, weeks turned into months. Then, a pattern emerged, a cluster of relatives, all connected through one particular ancestral line. A name appeared repeatedly in the genealogical reconstruction: James Paul Forte.
Forte had lived in Hazleton in the 1960s.
He was 22 at the time of the murder, the right age, the right proximity, the right timeline. He had a criminal background. In 1974, he was arrested for sexual assault. Court records revealed troubling behavior. He matched the psychological profile that modern investigators reconstructed through crime scene analysis. And yet, he had never been a suspect. Why? Because Forte died in 1980, only 16 years after Marise's murder. He was never questioned, never DNA tested, never investigated. If genealogical analysis was correct, investigators would need to confirm it through DNA. There was only one option: exhume his body. In early 2022, officials obtained a warrant to exhume Forte's remains from a cemetery in New Jersey. Forensic teams collected bone and tissue samples. The samples were compared to the DNA left on the young girl in 1964. The match was undeniable. The decades-long mystery was over. James Paul Forte was the killer. 58 years after the crime, the truth finally surfaced. When investigators shared the news with Marise's surviving siblings, the moment was emotional and overwhelming. For 58 years, they lived with questions. What happened? Why? Who was responsible? Would they ever know? Now, at last, the answers had arrived. But closure is complicated. For families, answers bring relief, but also reopen wounds long buried. And yet, they were grateful. Grateful that their sister's life mattered enough to pursue after decades. Grateful that science gave them answers when humans alone could not. Grateful that her story could finally be told with clarity. The Marise Chiverella case isn't just a solved crime. It stands as one of the most powerful examples of how far forensic science has come. In 1964, detectives had nothing. No technology, no tools, no digital evidence. In 2022, investigators had algorithmic DNA matching 10, genetic genealogy, database cross-referencing not, predictive ancestry mapping, historical data modeling. This combination, a marriage of human persistence and technological innovation, made the impossible possible. It's a message to families still waiting for answers in thousands of cold cases. Technology is evolving. Mysteries are unraveling. The shadows of the past are growing thinner. Even though advanced technology cracked the case, it's important to remember the human element. This case only survived because evidence from 1964 was preserved carefully. Detectives passed the case down through generations. The family never stopped asking. Investigators were willing to revisit old files. Genealogists spent thousands of hours mapping DNA connections. Technology didn't magically solve the case. People did. Technology only lit the path. Today, Marise Chiverella's story is remembered in Pennsylvania not just as a tragedy, but as a symbol of perseverance. Her case inspired discussions nationwide about the power of genetic genealogy, the need for preserving evidence, the importance of revisiting cold cases, the future of machine-assisted investigations. If her story teaches us anything, it's this: the truth doesn't always disappear. Sometimes it simply waits for the world to catch up. For 58 years, the truth hid in plain sight, buried in an old case file, locked inside a strand of DNA, waiting for the day science would finally give voice to a little girl who never got the chance to grow up. Marise Ann Chiverella's story reminds us that justice doesn't always come quickly, but it can come. And it reminds us that every cold case carries a heartbeat, a family waiting, a truth lingering, a name worth remembering. If you believe these stories deserve to be told, if you believe forgotten victims deserve their voices restored, if you want to dive deeper into mysteries that time tried to silence, then join us. Subscribe to Uncuffed Mysteries, where we bring light to the darkest cases and uncover the truth the world almost forgot. Because every mystery has a story, and every story deserves to be uncuffed.